Hey everybody, my name's Ashley Brooke, and the topic I'm going to be talking about today is the benefits of being autistic and experiencing childhood trauma. This is just my theory, this is my own experience, and from the information I have gathered from other autistic adults that have experienced childhood trauma, this is my conclusion, this is what I believe. You don't have to agree, but this is what I believe. If you guys have any questions or if you have your own experience with that, please leave them in the comments. I am very interested to see if I'm correct on this. I have very strong thoughts on this, so I hope I don't offend anybody. Okay, so me growing up, I grew up, would have been considered low functioning. When I was younger, I didn't speak, and I had many sensory issues to where they would just lock me in the room all the time. They didn't know how to deal with me. They thought I was, mentally ill. My family, they would make jokes, passive-aggressive jokes about me being mentally ill while I was having meltdowns, and I was overly stimulated, and they thought I was fighting them. It's such a miscommunication growing up. I was abused in every sense of the word consistently throughout my entire childhood until I ran away when I was 12. That was very scary for me to do. But the abuse was so intense that was more scary. I have many sensory issues, and someone trying to hit me, rape me, and, pretty much emotionally abused me on top of that about my autism. Retard. They call me crazy, stupid, freak. And they would act like sometimes it was worse than that. It was just like I wasn't there. I always felt like I was on the outside looking in. They couldn't see me. I always felt like a ghost. I felt that so much when I was younger that sometimes my brain would pretend I'd imagine scenarios. I knew that they weren't true, but it was so bad that sometimes I'd be like, wow, I would tell myself wow, what if I am a ghost? That's how much they ignored me. I was wondering maybe I am dead. It doesn't make any sense. I would always think in my head well, wouldn't that be trippy if I was really dead? That for someone to joke and say that though, I know it sounds crazy and it's a joke, and I don't think I'm a ghost, okay? But for the record, but that's how real it was, and how that's how much I was really discriminated and neglected, shunned pretty much for being autistic. That's crazy. That it really feels like that. I know it's not true. I'm not a damn ghost, but it felt like I was dead. I died or something. All of us, they don't hear me, they don't see me, they don't call me. I'm not invited to parties, I'm not invited to holidays, and it's really crazy, the feeling. It can make an autistic person that doesn't understand that that's why it's happening, it can make them feel crazy. I know it sucks to find out that they're being mean and not wanting me around because I am autistic, but I'd rather feel that than to not understand why and think, am I crazy? That's worse, honestly. So I'd rather just, know the truth. But I went through a lot of abuse. I ran away at 12. I had to, force myself to overcome my challenges just to survive. I feel that I was able to do this because it was survival. If I didn't do it, I would not be standing right now, the abuse, it's if I stood in that house, I probably would have been dead or raped, or I probably would have ended up defending myself and killing people that are trying to rape me, and then I'd be in prison or in a mental hospital, and that would be really messed up because I never deserved it. So this intense trauma, this intense discrimination that I grew up in, it made me really strong. For a long period of my life, I was I had phases where I was I don't believe in God. I'd be if there's a God, he can kiss my ass, because where the fuck is he? I'm a little girl. And that's how I'm thinking in my head. I'm a little girl, and he didn't care to protect me. All these people attacked me in every sense of the word, like, abuse. I was really angry for a minute with everybody, and then I went to another phase of, feeling like if anybody that looked at me or talked to me, I'd be like, what do you want, because I went for such a long time not talking, and people were very mean to me, and then when I was able to finally push through, because out of survival to defend myself, I started to learn how to speak and be more, I felt that it was, I had to do that. It became like a all or nothing kind of, mentality. I was either a little bit, like, too little or too much. So I would just, before it got to an abusive situation, I would just pounce them like, what do you want? What are you looking at? And if they try to hit on me, I'd be like, oh yeah, really? You like me? Oh, that's cute. I was so mean. Any way I can just be like, shut people down. It was like, that was a phase, because that was my, my protective, strategy to keep myself safe. It's like, I already know how people are mean, so I'm going to go and do what they do. I'm going to do it to them harder, so that they don't have that option to come at me like that. And it was very immature, very naive, very not developed, way of handling things. But because I was so young and so abused, and my autism and not understanding social situations, it left me very scared and in war mode. I was ready, I have to defend myself, and I may have to fight, and it was scary. And it kind of gave me this PTSD type of my body language, my eye movement, the way I talk. A lot of times I get really I'm it was so overwhelming, and I'm just but I'm super assertive and super there's no way someone's gonna hurt me. No one's gonna hurt me, not physically. Today, I'm rock solid today, but I did have to go through the process, to get me down to where you think about how I handle it, and then think, okay, I'm gonna handle it this way a little bit better. Every time I experience something that kind of made me have those emotions, I associated all the links of my trauma, and I come to realize that every time I go through trauma, though, and I handle it a lot better, and I'm also able to humanize everybody, have I'm very much a realist, and I am very assertive but very blunt. I used to be very passive. All of these ways that I have changed, I believe it's because of the trauma. I believe it was so hard for me that it made me, because my examples were doing dysfunctional things. It was very obvious that they were hurting their own selves. And it's because I loved them, I would care that they were hurting themselves. Why are they doing this? And I really tried to understand, what can I do? Why do people hurt themselves? Why do they keep doing the same thing? They keep doing something they know is going to hurt them, but they can't stop doing it. And I really, really thought about that for a long time in my life. And I always wondered, too, why they didn't like me or want me around, even though I was the only one that really cared about them, and I would do anything for them. It didn't make any sense. And so I feel that people that are neurotypical, I believe that they're the ones that kind of have an issue with seeing things outside of the way that they think, but outside the way of the norm, They can't see past themselves. I feel that it has created autistic people to feel shunned and not included. But I think so deeply about this that I realize that the issue is not the autistic person. The issue is, as neurotypical, not being able to accept something other than the way that they are, because they don't want to feel inadequate, because they lack knowledge. They can't think of things in a wider spectrum the way we are, because we have analytical thinking. Neurotypicals can't think that far. So it's allowed me to humanize the neurotypical mind. I understand, but I understand that they don't understand. It's not us that have the problem. It's not us that has trouble accepting other differences.